7. All right, Mind Over Motor Podcast 7. What's up, everyone?
How's it going?
Sam and Nick here. Numero siete.
Thanks for listening. If you haven't listened to our old ones, we thank you for your patience while we're
ironing this out, of course. But, practice makes perfect. We're just going to keep hitting this one on the head as much as we can. If you haven't listened to the old ones, go see if any of the topics interest you. Mm-hmm. And give it a listen and let us know what you think.
For sure. So we'll be going over some... there's not much really going on in news, right?
Small stuff
here and
there. As it
there.
relates to what we want to talk about.
Yeah. Not compared to, was it 2 weeks ago?
Well, between going to the New York Auto Show and going to Amelia, and then you got something coming up though.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be a couple weeks from now, but
yeah, we can kind of talk about that real quick.
Okay.
What are you
doing?
So in 2 weeks, I'm going to a private track event up at the New York safety track. It should be fun. We got some really awesome cars going there. I know there's a couple GT4s, GT3s. I think 2 GT3 RSs that should be there. I'm hoping I can ride along most of them, if not all of them.
Have the shit scared out of you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hopefully not because they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, no.
Hopefully because they do know what they're
doing. There's a couple McLarens going there. It should be pretty insane. And, of course, they're not all going to be, supercars. They're M3s, M4s. Yeah, there'd be some M3s and whatnot. But, with those cars there, they kind of create a shadow all those, M3s are still good cars. It's just with those cars there, it's a different story. So, so maybe in 3 weeks I
don't know when is it.
It's in 2 weeks. So we'll probably talk about it.
Hopefully the weather is good by then.
Yeah.
It's not snowing.
Yeah.
Snowing? Because it's been snowing
that is true.
in April here in the Northeast.
That would suck. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That would suck.
I think it's got to break eventually.
The snow?
The weather. We got to get spring eventually here. We're almost in mid-April.
I'm pretty okay with
30 degrees outside right now.
I'm pretty okay with snow.
This guy from Southern
I'm pretty okay. As long as it doesn't...
Snow's new to him.
The fluffy white powder.
Oh my God.
But should be exciting, yeah. But All
right, let's dive into this. So the first up is our thoughts on the new facelifted Camaro, which just hit today, which will be a week ago when you guys hear this.
Yep.
They've released a facelift and some new details. And, we haven't, delved too deeply into the details, but, from what we can see, they've brought out a 1LE package for the 4-cylinder, which, I don't think that's a bad move. I think, the lower end of the market needs some love, too, and, that model doesn't always have to be a base model, but...
What would you be shopping for if you're looking for, a...
I guess it's competing against, an FRS, or, I guess the Genesis. Is the Genesis Coupe even... I don't even know if there are 2018s of those, but that kind of a thing. The Mustang, obviously, the EcoBoost. But the EcoBoost is a little bit above. I guess a 370.
Yeah, it's very interesting where they're at in terms of that package.
It gives you the tunability. It gives you, the day-to-day fuel economy. I like that they're bringing out a 1LE pack for it to give those buyers the more full performance package. With we call it the basic engine, but it's 275 horsepower. So they haven't announced the new numbers if they've upped it, but it's pushing 300 horse. It's pretty serious power. We're just in this massive horsepower bonanza right now, so 300 horsepower is not even that crazy. Yeah. But that'll be fine. It's a big car, so it'll give it enough get up and go, but. Obviously it won't be like the V8.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Whoever buys a 4-cylinder 1LE.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see who I see driving around in those and talk.
Because you're always gonna, even if you have the 4-cylinder 1LE, everyone's gonna see that car and think muscle car, just straight line performance. So it's gonna be really interesting.
I hate that.
What?
I hate when it's just I know people with V6 Challengers that are like, I drive a muscle car. I'm like, no, you.
No, exactly.
Don't.
So that's what would. That's why I'm curious to who would buy a. Not saying it's a bad car by any means, but it's just that you have to get over that label, because you're definitely gonna have that.
Yeah, it's really I really see the car like I just want to say, like, on record, I don't have any problem with like an EcoBoost Mustang or like the turbo Camaro or anything like that. I'm just saying it's not a muscle car. It's more of a sport coupe, like the Genesis or like a 370Z. It's not a muscle car. Don't go around telling people you have a muscle car with your Weasel four-cylinder.
Well, even if you don't say anything, it's still like...
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, you know, to people who see you go by, it's like, oh, Camaro, where's your mullet? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Those things, you know, it never really can shake, I guess, but...
Let's talk about some of the styling points of this. I mean, we're not...
a little different.
I think we need to say we are not designers by any means. But,
and we're also only looking at like the first 3 pictures they released.
But there's some definite major changes going on, so I think it's something we can.
Dude, I think this thing kind of looks like we're looking at this blue one, the front.
Yeah.
The whole thing in the front is black, and it kind of looks like Dr. Doom in a hood. Like there's his eyes, like these. It looks evil.
Yeah, I can see that.
But not in like necessarily a good way. Like I think to me, like this black, like bumper on the front there, like it kind of fades in too much, and there's like a lack of definition of the front of the car, and
I see that. Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Like I think if that bar or the crash bar part wasn't there, it would look kind of good with like the big grill. Like it'd be like, oh my god,
maybe the ZL1's gonna be like that.
Yeah, I think they have to have that in some fashion for safety, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's very interesting, yeah. They definitely increased just air intake space, I guess.
Yeah, it might help the fuel economy.
Yeah, for sure.
Pass through.
Because I know the new Mustang, the new facelift Mustang, the bumpers, the front bumpers, like cut in, and there was an interview I watched with one of the head designers there, and the idea was to make it more aerodynamic, but also increase the volume of air that goes into the engine bay. Mm-hmm. So that's why you see, if you notice on the new facelift front bumper of the Mustang, the outer portion of the grille goes out toward the corners. I think it looks worse than the previous one, just in terms of appearance, because it looks more agile, and it doesn't look as it doesn't have a strong stance anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it does look a little softened, and I think I've seen a couple in person, and when you see them on the street, they don't look bad.
Yeah.
Like, it still looks good. It's a good-looking car, but if you see one side by side, you know, both of them with equivalent options and stuff, like, I think the previous S550 Mustang is going to look a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's a little softer. It's all right.
Yeah. But I mean, the new Camaro,
I don't know.
It's a big... I don't know.
Well, you know, actually, with the red one here, and I think that might be the 4-cylinder, when they don't black out the whole front and you see the definition, I think that is a lot better looking than this.
Yeah, and
than the
on the blue
blacked out one.
Yeah, and the blacked out blue front shot one, the grille extends and connects with all the way.
Yeah, honestly, if this was just blue, I think I'd be fine with it.
Yeah,
I think it just wouldn't lose the definition of its shape.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like you're missing like the centerpiece, I guess.
It does look like, if you look at those like as eyes, and like this is like a curled smile, it looks like Dr. Doom in a hood.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's kind of like it's kind of evil. And then I'd have to see it in person, but in this photo, the taillights just are way too bubbly for me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I like the current gen, the current look of the Camaro taillights a lot. I think they work well with the shape of the body. These are doing something that I don't know. At least in this picture, maybe I'll think differently when I see it in person. But it's too bubbly for the shape and the style of the car.
Want to see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I think it's cool. It's a new direction for sure. Yeah. I would say this is one of the more dramatic changes of the Camaro.
Yeah, in terms of mid-year, given that this isn't like a new generation of Camaro. Yeah. It's just a refresh.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think it's more than the previous one. But yeah, that's cool. It's interesting. We'll see. I'll see it in person. We'll see it in person.
Oh, yeah.
Render our full judgment, but you know how it goes. So moving on to something else, but staying in sort of in the enthusiast place. We'll see. We'll find out how much. Mm-hmm. Ford is releasing a Edge ST. Ooh. That is their like big, but not Explorer big SUV, like mid-size SUV, with an ST model. And Oh man, it's interesting because it's the first of its type from like a normal pedestrian manufacturer to make a performance model. Now, like, obviously BMW and Porsche and Alfa Romeo, they're luxury brands and they've been making fun SUVs, but this is the first of the like, normal brands, everyday, plebeian brands to make a performance version of an SUV.
What about Jeep?
Or should I say in this class? Jeep, that's a $100,000 car. I meant like an affordable. What I meant to say was like the affordable range.
Well, I mean, what about the Nitro and stuff like Caliber? I mean, those are failed.
You could go back that far, yeah.
Those are failed attempts, but
that's a fair point. I guess I mean maybe that wasn't on my mind because that kind of died in the economy crash, and I haven't really thought about that car since. That's how much of an impression that left.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the world wasn't ready. Those cars were ahead of their time, I guess.
And the economy was just ahead of their time.
Yeah, we'll call it that. But yeah, I mean, I think the world is ready for this now.
Oh yeah, I think it's been tested.
Yeah, sure. I think there's clearly enough demand in the luxury segment for performance SUVs. Mm-hmm. They're popping up like hotcakes, and I think it's right for Ford to. It's bold, but I think it might be right for them to. I mean, it's just it's weird. Like I just have trouble seeing the Flex as like a performance car because
that would be so awesome.
This big bulbous.
I would
SUV.
totally just get like some all-wheel drive, 800 horsepower family Flex.
That would be just mod the shit out of it.
Looks like a missile.
Oh my god! I don't know, and it's gonna have the 2.7 EcoBoost in it, mm-hmm. Which is a really good engine. I think performance-wise, I know it does. It shoots the Ford F-150, a much bigger, heavier vehicle, mm-hmm. To 0 to 60 in well under 6 seconds. Mm-hmm. So. If that makes that big truck that quick, this is probably going to be like low 5s, 0 to 60 or maybe even high 4s. And if they set it up right. I mean, you can't argue with that kind of performance. In terms of like a daddy wagon that scoots, for sure. Yeah.
What else would compete with this?
From the other American and, pedestrian American manufacturers, there's really not much else.
Right.
I looked through, and there's there's like the V6 options and stuff, but that's not a performance model.
Nope.
Even if it has similar horsepower and stuff, it's we're talking like the full package. Because it's got the handling and the branding and everything. I mean, but I also think we were just looking at the pricing of the Edge range, and it looks like this car is going to be at the top of the range, and it's probably the other ones top out like at base 40. MSRP around 40.
Yep.
Or a little under 40. So I would guess that this is going to be like a $42,000 base price. Maybe even as much as 45. I would be shocked if it was like 49, but I wouldn't say that's out of the realm of possibility. I think that would be pushing it too far though, being a Ford Edge in the end of the day.
Seriously.
I think, if they base price it around 40 and you can get the one you want with all the options you'd miss for under 50, or for well under 50, I think they've got a hit on their hands here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
like a relative hit. But I don't know. Like for 45, I brought this up a little earlier. Like when we were first talking about this, you're in the realm of like an Alfa Stelvio there. It's not got the same amount of horsepower, but it's also lighter.
Yep.
And you can't tell me that Ford is going to give this Edge the driving dynamics of the Stelvio. I don't think.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I mean?
I think the Stelvio, in terms of short term, will probably I think you'll have more fun driving that without.
Yeah, like back to back on a track, you're gonna have more fun in the Alfa on a winding road.
Unless watch when this releases, it's like
watch. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Watch it be filthy. Watch Ford just give a wedgie to the entire industry. Like, I wouldn't put it past them because, I mean, let's be honest, the Fiesta ST and the Focus ST and the Focus RS,
they're doing extremely well.
They all drive amazingly well.
Yeah.
They're very exciting cars. And I think, that's the other question is like, what standards do we hold a car like this to? It's like, do we hold it to the same standard as like a Focus ST in terms of the excitement it's supposed to deliver, or do we recognize that, as an SUV, I mean, looking at this interior here, there's a lot more stuff there than in a Focus.
Right.
So like, it's not going to be as like, forgive me for the thing, as focused of a driver's car as a Focus. God, yep. I'm using that word a lot.
Yep.
But that's okay, like it's not necessarily supposed to be.
Yeah, you wouldn't want like a stripper model and just performance for a car like this. Like,
yeah, no, it's got to have the whole package.
Yep.
But I think what marks it for me is all of these high performance SUVs. I've driven a couple of them now, and what really gets me is that the good ones feel like a rally car. It feels like a big rally car. And if they can nail those kind of dynamics in this, I think they'll have...
You're talking about the sports SUV segment?
Yeah, like the one that really like nailed it home for me was the Macan. The first time, the Macan Turbo, first time I drove it, a lot of it felt very reminiscent to an Evo.
That's pretty
And
awesome.
I was blown away because it was plush.
Way
it was
higher off the ground.
Way higher off the ground, but like the responsiveness and just sort of the general feel was not exactly like an Evo, but very reminiscent of the way an Evo.
The fact that it could even get close is,
and the steering response is nice and stuff. And like it's not as hardcore, obviously, but it's the fact that it had those kind of reflexes and those kind of driving dynamics in a car that was so. Not even just the fact that it was high off the ground, but so luxurious. Yeah. Blew me away. And
I mean, granted, it is a
Porsche.
Different price point.
It's $100,000. The one I drove was like $97,000.
Sure, but the fact that it can do that is, I think...
But it's trickling down.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
this segment started with basically the Porsche Cayenne.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, back in the mid-2000s. Yeah. Cayenne Turbo.
We were talking about picking like how cheap those have gotten.
Oh God,
like dirt cheap.
If you know how to work on those kind of cars, it's a good buy.
Yeah, but if you don't even
get
close.
near it if you don't have the connections or the skills. But yeah, no, I will. What really sold the Cayenne for me, and I guess the first time I realized you could have like a decent amount of fun in an SUV.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it was a Porsche.
It was. But it wasn't the Cayenne Turbo. It was a Cayenne. It was a base Cayenne, but it was a stick. My buddy's dad had one. It was like one of 16 in the country. He special ordered it. And I got to drive it. Cool. I got to drive it once, and I was like, it was kind of what you'd expect, but better in every way. Like it was like I was surprised. I expected to be let down and like, oh, it's just some big like floaty thing with a stick. And it was actually
the first gen, so yeah.
I mean, my expectations were kind of like, were low. And I was very pleasantly surprised with how entertaining it was to drive.
Yeah.
And again, this is just the V6, not the turbo, not anything crazy. Just, it was a very entertaining car to drive.
But yeah, you bring up a good point though. Like the Porsche started with the Cayenne and then kind of like you said, trickle down in terms of technology. But this, what was it, quote unquote, trickling down from?
Well, I think just the notion of a high performance SUV is trickling its way down the market right now.
Oh, I thought you meant like technology and like...
No. I mean, just like, I think with the Cayenne Turbo, they proved it at like the really high-end six-figure price point.
Right.
And then obviously like BMW came to the table with the X5M and whatnot. And like...
That's a good point, though. Like
later,
why wouldn't they just do an Explorer ST and then do an Edge?
Yeah, I mean, Dodge has kind of done an Explorer ST. They did the Durango SRT, which is 475 horsepower.
Jeep Grand Cherokee, same.
Yeah. 7-seater. Like, daddy wag.
Maybe that's why Ford kind of started with the Ford Edge ST.
That's true. They went into the segment at a lower level because I do think Chrysler is targeting the top level.
Yep.
And I think there's nothing like a Hellcat.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
for
shit.
Sure.
Like, 700 horsepower. But, that car, don't forget, when you say 700 horsepower, also say 5,100 pounds. That car needs 700 horsepower to be really exciting.
And then what's the Trackhawk? Is that 800?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one with that's the Hellcat Jeep.
Oh, okay.
They just call it Trackhawk.
Well, I mean, you do 4-wheel burnout.
Yeah, no, it's an insane amount of power. Like, and 707 is supposedly an underrated figure as well.
That's scary.
But you don't need, you don't need that much. And this Edge is a much smaller car. Well, actually, physically, in some ways, it's not. But it's a lighter car. It's like 4,400 pounds.
Yep.
And, it's going to have 315 to 335. I've seen a couple different claims. But it's, it'll have good performance.
Yeah. Should get it in
for
white.
the more average driver.
Get it in white so you look like a cop car.
Yeah, you'll still fool. But dude, even if you catch a glimpse of like the Ford fascia, you're gonna slam on your brakes.
Yeah,
you're gonna take the chance. Like, nah, that's not a cop.
I hate that. I mean, it's great for cops, but oh god, I hate that when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Every time I see that headlight pattern of a Explorer, I'm just like, oh god.
Dude, this one kid in high school, as a caveat, like this kid had an old police car. It was white. And, like, a lot of the cops in our area just drove white unmarked Crown Vics.
Oh.
So, like, his looked like that, but a little bit more beat. But if I'm in my STI going 80 miles an hour down a back road and I see him turn out, I'm slamming on my brakes like a mofo.
Yep.
And, like, me and all the other car people in my high school were, like, we was just, like, every time we go up to this kid and we're like, dude, you, like, made me shit my pants earlier. Like... because he's doing it to everybody, and he just laughed, man. He was having a great time with that thing. Yeah, side notes, but yeah. Now that would, would be really interesting is if they made a police package of the Flex ST.
Oh god,
like
I feel like they would.
Like for the police that don't need so much of like the size of the Explorer, like or whatever it's based on.
It's gonna be for like the New York City or something.
Yeah, like
they're gonna sell it.
Give them the police package with the chip. Oh man, the chip.
Yep.
Like, dude, I could see that happening, but
oh god,
I think this. I like this. I mean, yes, it looks like a Focus ST went on the lard diet and just ballooned.
I mean, overall, it looks good though.
I do actually think again,
it's pretty good.
Forgetting that, if you just look at it as an Edge, that's going to be a lot more fun. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any drawbacks.
But I think what kind of deters me is the price point. It's like,
yeah, we'll see. I mean, the question is the price out the door, the functional price of it, is it going to be closer to 40 or closer to 50?
Yeah,
if it's closer to 40, I think that'll be all right.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be closer to 50.
Probably.
That's my guess.
I don't think SUVs and whatnot are really getting cheaper.
No,
these days I think everything's getting a bit more expensive. I'm glad it exists though, because I want to see more trucks like this, or more crossovers like this.
Yeah. And it's awesome that the industry is going more toward performance though. Right? I mean, you could have totally went the other way and went like everything's super efficient. And that's it. So
but I think it's human nature. People want fast. It's like your buddy with the X5 or X6. Like, that is a plush SUV that is fast as shit.
That thing is freaking fast.
And, like, you get the best of both worlds. You get your cruiser SUV, and then when you put the hammer down, it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no drawback, really, other than, like, the weight. But, like, for what it is.
I mean, when you're buying a car like that, it's like...
Yeah, you're not buying an Elise, you know what I mean? Like, for a daily driver, oh, my God.
Yeah, like, I mean, this would be a great... Yeah, this would be a great... Wait, is this rear-wheel drive?
No, it's all-wheel
right? Okay, good.
It's gonna be that would be awesome. I mean, keep in mind all they did really here was just put the drivetrain from the Fusion Sport into the Edge, and then firm up the suspension. So it fit within their catalog for sure. Right. But this is what they got to do. I think why not? I'm surprised they didn't call that the Fusion ST.
No,
they called it the Fusion Sport. They should have called it the ST. Well, what's wrong with that? For me, I mean, it goes back to the badge conversation we had. Like, for me, the badge of ST on the car adds something to it for me. Because I want to get out of the car and, like, the image I want, the way I feel about it, I want to have the ST in this scenario, right?
Yep.
Whereas, like, if it's the Fusion Sport, everyone's going to be like, what's that?
But I think...
you got to explain it, and it's really boring.
Yeah, but I think that's, like, a deeper discussion, because I feel like internally at Ford, I'm sure they have like criteria to get that badge. It's like
I'm sure they had a lot of meetings.
Oh yeah, like you have to have approval by this. It has to fit this criteria. So I'm pretty sure that Fusion Sport was just enough.
Probably.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
not really like trying to be an S4 competitor.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, but I'm hoping what that means is that it's going to perform seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping that seal of approval is going to mean it's a real deal.
Yeah, and I think just building up that legit, it's like credibility of the brand or that badge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because it's not in their interest to ruin the badge.
No, it's fairly new, right? Like
ST, it came out with no, it's pretty old because it was over in Europe for a while.
Oh, it was.
So like at least the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I think.
Interesting.
And then they brought it over here. Yeah, I mean, Ford's been doing a lot for a long time over in Europe. Like all the performance stuff existed.
I really like the Focus RS, the previous.
Yeah, the front wheel drive one.
Yeah, with the 5-banger.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
If only ours had a 5-banger.
I love that car on with that bright neon green.
Yeah.
The one that was on J Lone's garage.
Yeah.
Oh man,
very sick cars, and
yeah,
they're Ford. The global Ford has been, the European models were great for a long time, and they've just in the last decade have decided to bring that to their home country. Don't know why it took so long. But I mean, I'm glad that this is happening. I want to see, pretty soon we're going to see like a Chevy Trax SS or some shit like that. Like the little one, like.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, I don't know. It might not be too bad if they put like
who knows?
Turbo motor in it and tighten it up.
ATS suspension, ATS-V suspension, magnetic ride.
I wouldn't be against that. Or the Cadillac did just bring out, what is it, the XT4, which is like a smaller SUV, but it has like the 2-liter turbo in it. So essentially it's like an ATS crossover. So like if they make like a V version of that with all-wheel drive, like, I wouldn't really be against that.
I'm not a huge fan of everything beside the Escalade. All these crossovers and SUVs look weird to me.
Yeah. Oh well. Within Cadillac itself.
Yeah, within Cadillac. The only non-sedan or coupe that's nice is the Escalade.
I do like the XT5. Like when I drove that, it was hard not to like it. Like
that's the Edge competitor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right?
It's a very like expected experience, but it doesn't do anything.
The fact that you say that makes me want to cringe.
No, I know, but like it was like, but again, it's like for the right type of buyer, right? Like we're not the market for that car.
No, right.
But like I got in that thing, and I'm like, it's exactly what the old one was, but it's way better in everything that the old one lacked, and to the point where I don't think there are any drawbacks to that car at this point. Now, there's not that much that's like really great about it. I mean, it's a nice car, but like if you're gonna lease it, lease it.
But design-wise, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, no. There's way better looking.
It just screams, I don't care about driving.
Yeah, no, but it's for people that, it's basically for people. If you want an SUV for like 40, 50 grand and you care about driving, go to the Alfa dealer. Seriously. Like, I can't hammer that home.
Alfa and
Porsche. I
Porsche.
swear to God. Yeah, no, but it's like below the price of a Porsche. Like, you can't get a Macan for like 45 grand.
And the badge.
Or at least not a Macan you really want. You get like the little shitty one with the 4-cylinder in it. This one has the Alfa has a 4-cylinder in it too, but it's like good. It's like, it's just.
Is it? It's a tiny turbo, right?
They're actually underrated. They claim 280 horsepower, and they're actually like dynoing. They're more like 315 or so.
Wow.
So it moves. It's like 0 to 60 in like 5.1 seconds.
I'm really curious where they do these tests. They probably like do it in like Denver,
or they scale them back. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Like,
yeah.
Like, well, the other thing with the European cars is I find a lot of them are rated like they in Denver on 91 octane. It'll make what they claim. So they never want it to be underperforming. But if you're at sea level in New Jersey and 93 octane, you're probably got another 10-20% horsepower.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of those do that. And it's kind of
like a couple, but there were a couple, was it Motor Trend episodes? They were comparing the, I think it was the M5. It was some BMW, and it was actually overrated.
Really?
Yeah. I forgot which
was it NA? Or was it turbocharged? I don't remember. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
Yeah,
which
but
one.
I was kind of surprised because the Audi they were comparing it against was actually underrated.
Well, some of the Audis and stuff, and the M5s and stuff, like some of those are like not just a little underrated; they're like egregiously underrated.
Yeah,
like,
I think the Audi was like 50 or 60 horsepower over. Yeah. It's like, wow, how did you miss that?
It's like, or even like the normal BMW 328i, like they were saying, like. It was like 240 horsepower, and it was really like 240 at the wheels, so it's like 280 or 300. Oh, and it's like, okay, so you're buying your, if you're like well-heeled and you're buying your kid, leasing your kid like a car, and you're like something nice, you think you're getting them a little 240 horsepower. You're really getting them like a luxury Evo, like it's with fine. The same kind of performance.
It helps
like,
with insurance, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but dude, like that. That's like you're putting it's not exactly what they're.
This is a new day and age.
I guess it's better. It's the 328's a fast little car. Yeah. Faster than you'd think.
Like that little button at the bottom of that gas pedal.
Yeah, when I'm in auto mode, that's fine. When I'm in manual, hell no. That's a pet peeve of mine.
It's another discussion.
But yeah, I mean, the performance SUVs I'm excited about. I think the market's moving there. If the market's going to move there, might as well have some fun.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And I think there are some good things about these.
I'm glad they're doing it. I think it makes a segment that's mainly typically just, labeled as a family, function, efficiency, and this is adding like a hot spin to it.
I also like the fact that like some of these SUVs are like not really SUVs. Like we were saying, the Mercedes GLA.
Oh, yeah.
That's a hatchback. With like, and we're talking like 2 inches more ride.
Yeah. Height. What other SUVs are there that are quote unquote SUVs?
Yeah. Well, honestly, chassis wise, almost all of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're all on car chassis that just raised ride heights. Mm-hmm. But any of the ones in that light class, this really small class, they're really a car. Pretty much. It's a hatchback with a raised ride height. Or like the HRV. Yeah, the HRV is a really good one. That's essentially a Honda Fit with like higher ride height. Like,
which is,
that's fine. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
It's and honestly, they're easier to get in and out of. Like the ergonomics of these small SUVs are like pretty nice.
Except the back seats.
That's true, but if you get like the mid-size one, like a Macan size, like back seat's big enough, Macan's and like there's really no drawback to like a Macan.
Yeah. Macan is probably the car I would want.
Or like an SQ5 or, you don't want too big. I'm very much over like the big ones.
Yeah.
But.
So we're going
so
the U.S. is following the European trend finally.
Like that Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Like, that punches all my buttons. Like. That thing
I need to test drive one of those.
Really? Like, you'll see exactly what I mean when you do it. I didn't even believe the Stelvio was going to be as good as it was. Uh-huh. And I drove the Giulia beforehand. And I'm like, the Stelvio is probably just a bad. It's going to be, kind of disappointing by comparison.
Just to make some money.
Just to make some money, whatever. But I shit you not. It's uncompromised from the sedan.
It's a totally different chassis than the Giulia?
I think it's the same chassis, just altered for SUV.
Right.
Or I don't actually know, to be honest. I would guess it's the same platform.
Is the interior pretty much the same?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
Little bits of every manufacturer.
Yeah. A little bit.
Which is fine. And it's a clean.
They're not the greatest interiors.
Yeah. But I'm glad. But there's one thing I appreciate about Alfa is that they don't try to make it nice. You know what I mean?
They just do a nice, clean design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not like trying to.
They're not doing too much.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the Italians in general. I don't think any of the Italian cars would really ever do too much in production.
That's true. Even like Ferraris that are always they're nice. Right. They're nice, but they're not like there's nothing too crazy about it. It's just very simple.
But that's my favorite thing about the Italians. Like even when you look back at their classic cars, like you look at like a classic like Ferrari 250 like short wheelbase or something like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing crazy about that. Mm-hmm. It's just a very simple shape with very like simple curves.
Like a pizza.
God damn, it's beautiful. Like you just can't get enough of it. Like your eyes you just want to look at it all day. And I mean, the Italians are very good at getting the subtleties right, so they don't have to do too much.
Which is
good. I think that's true of these new Alphas too. And side note that the new Giulia Coupe that's rumored to be coming out.
Oh no way.
That is gonna be insane.
Wait, when did this release?
It hasn't released yet. It's totally in the rumor mill. People are photoshopping the sedan with 2 doors and stuff. I'm hoping they don't just do a straight coupe, like a straight just cut 2 doors off like the ATS did. Yeah. I'm hoping they give it some of its own styling, and really make it like it's like something special.
Even if they did cut off and it
would still look good.
Yeah, that would look amazing.
It would. I just hope they give it a little bit more flair. Because I know they can. It's Alfa Romeo, man. Wow. Make it real pretty.
I would totally pay for that.
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm
I don't even know this. I don't know the specs. I don't know anything.
Shit.
Wow, that would...
you might be on the side of the road, but you're going to look damn good doing it.
Yeah.
You look great waiting for the tow truck.
Yeah. Wow, that'd be nice.
Dude, yeah.
I love the Giulia as it is. And
yeah, I think it's a great... When you see him in traffic, it's when you see him in traffic. Even the Stelvio. The Stelvio, I don't like it how it looks as much as the Giulia, but when you see it in traffic amongst normal, boring design cars, it pops. The styling
For me, it's okay.
It's got this crispness to it.
Yeah.
The lines. I mean, within the shape of the car.
It looks like it's arching its back to me.
It does.
Which looks weird. It looks like a humpback.
A little bit.
A hunchback.
A little bit. I love the rear. I actually love the almost side profile, turned towards the rear of the Stelvio. I think it looks really good from that angle.
It's unique.
Yeah.
I like the front ends of Alphas.
Yeah. Well, and with the LEDs, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, just
seeing those go across the road, it's something special.
My plan is to have the Miata or something that's reliable, and then take the dive off the cliff.
Yep.
Off the Alpha cliff.
Probably just wait a little bit, and then...
Wait, I'm waiting for the depreciation, because you don't want to spend, brand new money on that.
For sure.
Either lease one or buy one at, the low $20K range, and when they get there, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see... the maintenance history, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's gonna be bad, but how bad?
Yeah, how bad? And well, I mean, the thing is, realistically, I don't actually care if little things go wrong and I go to the dealer and fix them if they're not that expensive. What bothers me is the BMW or Volkswagen problems.
Oh, the catastrophic failure.
These catastrophic shits that your engine goes if the timing chain tensioner fails. Okay, that's a huge problem. You go from, I don't care if, my sensor goes and, you go to the dealer and you pay,
BMW,
$300 to fix it. Whatever. But, we're talking about an engine failure.
Yeah.
Or the Beamers, they I don't know if the Beamers have quite as much of that.
I think you're talking about the 335.
That was more of a Volkswagen thing. Well, yeah, that too. But BMWs had, I know, they had steering issues with, their steering racks, and you have to, replace the power steering, and that's, it's not a catastrophic failure, but it's if you get it done at a dealer, you're almost $2,000. It's big money.
I don't know a lot of catastrophic failures. I know with the new F80s, they do have some head gasket problems.
Yeah, well, and again, if you can afford an F80, you can afford to fix that. Service, it's you probably spend a couple, maybe again $2,000. They'll have a lot of low 4-figure problems that if you take it to a dealer, you will be out, let's say $700 to $2,000.
Yeah,
probably twice a year. God. That everybody I've talked to who's owning BMW, it's basically that.
Yeah, I think they've gone better though, for sure. You're talking, I'm assuming the era that you're talking about,
era for sure.
That's when there were a lot, when the 335 first came out in 2009, the twin turbo engine.
07.
07. Yeah, that thing was a time bomb.
Yeah,
and pretty much that whole model spectrum was a bad time for BMW.
Which sucks because they drove pretty well still.
And freaking quick.
Yeah, they were real quick. A lot of performance.
Was it horsepower was 360?
It was it was an underrated 300 stock.
Yeah, I know that.
But it was more I would say bone stock. And I think they got more powerful with the newer gens.
Yep.
But I think the 07 was bone stock is probably 330. Or something like that.
Yeah, which is pretty.
And then with an intake and a tune, you're 370 wheel, 430 horse at the crank, some crazy
Those things
numbers.
Are sleepers.
Oh yeah, they are. But you just better have some cash and skills set aside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean they hit it. So
so would you?
Interesting. We got very off topic.
Yeah.
We're talking about the SUVs. We wanted to back on cars from SUVs, but all right, back on topic here. Yeah, I mean, well, all right. So let's talk about BMW sport SUVs. We had the M cars,
the awesome X6 new X2.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. I take that.
Oh well, not. I thought. Wow, I totally thought you said X5M, and I said like, yeah, no.
Wow, X2.
X2, no.
That thing's
that thing. Look, they're gonna sell a bunch of those. It's gonna fund other things.
I don't think so. Actually,
no?
I like personally. Have you? I mean, this is granted.
No, I haven't seen one on the road. But I haven't been looking. No, that's not a car I would notice. Really.
Really?
It's
the facelift is pretty different from the new.
If I saw one in that crazy green color, I would notice it. But like,
really?
If I saw a silver one go by, I would probably think it. I would just like assume it was like an X3 or something.
The front looks. I know like all BMWs pretty much look the same, but the X2 front end is definitely significantly different from the. Like, so, but yeah,
I can't say I've seen one yet.
I have yet to see one, and I drive.
Are they on sale yet?
I'm pretty sure.
I think if they're not on sale, they might be on sale soon. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see in like a couple months.
I'm pretty sure they're on sale because
I haven't honestly looked at.
Because I know because I shoot for a certain dealership around the year, like once in a while, and they had their first X2 in their showroom.
Oh, okay.
A month ago.
Oh,
a month ago.
Yeah, so I mean,
and they've been snapped, and I see their snaps, and they have like X2s ready to go.
A lot of them. Just not people.
Yeah, and I would assume they're for sale because there's. Why would a dealer buy a bunch of new products and just let them sit there? So, yeah.
Well, what I think the big hole for BMW right now is, and I almost can guarantee this is going to happen, is they have the X6 and X5Ms, full M models, and then they have the X4 40i and the X3 40i, or M40i. Where's my X3M? X4M with the F8X engines in it. Like, wow, that needs to freaking happen.
That would be insane.
Well, think about it. I mean, Mercedes is doing it with the GLC.
No,
I totally, the C63 motor.
I totally agree with you. It's just weird that you're right. You are. And
the Stelvio. I mean, there's literally the whole. It's like, all right, BMW, like, come on, just step in. We already know what you got to do. Just do it. Yep. Like, we all, there's no secret. Just do it.
I'm really curious of. I wonder why.
I think I've heard rumors it's about to happen, like within a year.
And what a surprise that would be.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like all right.
It's like, guys, what are you waiting for, and why did it take this long?
I think it's more probably chassis tuning. Because I'm pretty sure the X3 is not made really even close to handle to that much power.
And that's the thing, to make it an M car. But how amazing would that be? Like if when that comes out, if they're if it's like a proper M car.
That'd be awesome. It competes with the Macan.
Yeah, Macan Turbo. If it's good enough to really take charge of that segment. Yeah. Because the Alpha is. Everybody who's driven the Alpha is like, whoa. Yeah. And it, set the Nürburgring time and stuff. I mean, but, again, that's what you expect from that brand. But, if you can have them really run into the ring with them and, take, beat the M3 of SUVs. Oh my God,
that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be exciting.
Well, I think it's gonna happen. We'll see. I mean, I think it's gonna need more power than the F8X has. I mean, even though it's a little underrated, I think at this point they're gonna need 5. I think they need to advertise 5 because everybody else is. Even the new Jag, the F-Pace has 550 and put a V8 in that. So, I think BMW needs to come to the conversation with at least 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an SUV, though, too. They're heavier, bigger, four-wheel drive. They got to make up for the drivetrain loss and the weight.
Right.
For the performance you want.
I'm thinking more so they would... I would think they would probably deliver less power, but try to advertise it as a more quote-unquote driving experience.
That's kind of what they do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're not all about the muscle.
They're not going to get away with 425, though. If they advertise what the F8X advertises, they're not going to get away. I think in this market, they need to at least be advertising 485.
Yeah.
Just for everybody who looks and buys a car based on the spec sheet, which a lot of people do.
Yeah, that
especially if you're not into cars and you just want to fast, fun car. You're going to look up the spec sheets like a week before you're going to go to the dealer and go to the one that you like the best. Mm-hmm. If you just, if you spend your day doing other things and making enough money for a car like that, boom.
Check the interior, check the specs, and then make your
test drive it to confirm your decision and buy it.
Yep.
So
that's definitely coming.
Yeah, no, I think that is a must.
I think that whole lineup kind of needs a refresh, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. No, it's been out for a long time.
In terms of styling too.
I think they're due for a new one. I mean, I think that I would hope that this would happen with that, and that's probably what's held it up.
Yeah, they're probably trying to do some crazy new release.
They'll probably release the new X3 and X4, and it will be and then this will be like the option,
right?
Like a high.
That's interesting. End. Yeah, because the M8 is probably the biggest styling relaunch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'll hit their new design language, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So now we're moving on to the next topic.
The Roadster.
The NSX Roadster. And that's going to also lead us into our final topic. Mm-hmm. So Acura has released a, is it real or is it finally on its way this year? The question. So they haven't really released it. This is actually the photo, I think, of the car that was an Iron Man. But, Acura NSX, should they do a Roadster? BMW made the i8 Roadster.
Yep, that thing looks cool.
I think it looks great. And I think for what the i8 is, that works.
Yep, I think we.
It's a cruiser.
Yep.
Totally. When you drive it, it's
not
fast.
A track weapon.
It's not a weapon. It's as a road capable. Car, it's a weapon. I think it's definitely fast and it handles well on the road and stuff. But it's not a chiseled driver's car. No. It's for somebody that isn't a driving connoisseur, but wants a fast, fun, flashy, technologically advanced
Very
car.
flashy.
Yeah. Very, very
styling
flashy.
Cues. Yeah.
Like hypercar levels of flashy.
Oh, yeah.
You turn heads because everybody thinks it's a concept car.
I love that, though.
I love it. Oh, yeah. I love
the fact that you can confuse an average Joe that your car is a concept car is pretty awesome.
It's absolutely sick.
Which is kind of the opposite of the NSX, in my opinion.
Which is weird, because if only the i8 had the performance and the driving experience of the NSX, that would be like the perfect car in that segment.
For sure.
See, like when I drove the NSX, it was when you were using the performance, it was ridiculously exciting. Like, unbelievable performance, unbelievable acceleration. The way the electric motors work with the turbo V6, it's just seamless. And then that's the way all the Acuras are. It's like every system works with every other system seamlessly. It was awesome. But then you relax, and you're in traffic, and it lets you forget you're in a supercar. And it's just...
Honda interiors.
Yep, and we drove through Wawa. We turned around in the Wawa and nearby, and
for those
I drove by a bunch of people. And not one of them looked. It was silver, to be fair. But, like...
It should be a head turner.
Yeah, I mean, like, nobody was, like, freaking out. And meanwhile, when I cruised through Greenwich last year in the blue i8, a guy pushed his stroller into a curb. He forgot he had a child because I was driving a sapphire blue i8.
Yeah. Just
sitting there at a traffic light. Like... so like if you could mix those two cars together,
mix performance and a poster car, pretty much.
Yeah, like the i8 needs more performance. It's fast enough for what
I think i8 definitely fulfilled what it was supposed to do, which 100%. Is kind of like to bring in the new era of technology that BMW is going to offer. So
it's true.
I mean, it is not. I think we both agree it's not like a crazy driver's car, but it did set out what it was supposed to do. It's a
sports car. In level of performance, that's a supercar or hypercar in the level of exoticness, which is a very interesting combination.
Yep.
Because man, you got the doors and everything. I mean, that's the other thing. The NSX just has normal doors. Like the Acura, and I guess this isn't surprising. Acura doesn't do theatrics very well.
Well, I mean, it'd be weird if they had like crazy doors.
I think it would be better.
I think make that car. I would actually disagree with you on that.
Really?
Because the NSX, the initial NSX, was supposed to be the drivable.
This isn't like the initial.
No, right, but I know they want. Obviously, you want to tie the heritage a little bit.
Yeah, but I think they've already lost. I mean, to me at least, the NSX, the original one, was like such a driver's car and like a purist car. They already made the decision to step so far away from that. So why not go full batshit exotic and like give everybody what they want?
I would agree with you, but I know Honda's
they went like halfway.
They're like a conservative company.
Yeah, they're very conservative, and I don't think it does them favors.
If they did do that, it'd be like whoa, like
But I think that actually could have spiced up the Acura brand a little bit, like.
Okay, well, just say they did, right? Just say they spiced up the brand.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna buy after you see that? What like if you see like an i8, you see an i8, right? You're like, wow, that's an awesome car. You can't afford it, but you're like, wow, that looks awesome. It really excites me to buy a BMW. You go into the BMW dealership. There's like an M3, there's all M4, M6, whatever. Like, there's these performance models.
Well, okay, they'd have to follow that up with.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They can't just make a car like that and then make the same boring shit they currently make.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at the Acura NSX, it has some like crazy styling.
Okay, but how about this? I agree with you in that regard. Like that wouldn't have made them sell more like current Acuras. But I do think in that segment, it would make that car more appealing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think if you're going to spend $200,000 on that, and you're going to take that car over a 570S, if that had gull-wing doors, I think more people would accept it as a $200,000 car.
I think it needs to have better styling. Not better.
I do too.
Oh, actually, I don't know about better.
It looks good, but it's boring.
Yeah.
It's understated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if that's what they're going for, they definitely hit it.
But why? But I don't want an understated supercar. Like the underneath the guts of this car are so good.
Yeah.
Like they didn't make the full package.
But the fact that you say that means that they actually did follow the heritage of the.
Oh yeah, they did. They
totally did.
And when I read the review, I was like, I actually said that kind of thing about it. I was like, it's kind of expected. Like, this is what Acura does. They play it safe. And they do a really good job technologically, but then their brand image is it's the safe brand. It's like, okay, I'm a person that plays it safe. I've got a promotion and I'm now an executive. I'm going to trade in my Honda Accord for an Acura TLX.
Mm-hmm.
Living large. Kind of. Not really.
They're still nice.
Living large, but keeping it safe. Oh, yeah. They're very nice cars. Really well engineered. I love them in a lot of ways, but like when it comes to like as an object that you're really going to spend money on, like why? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that just it struggles, and it's just weird that they fell into the same trap even at the level of like a $200,000 supercar.
Yeah, and wasn't it supposed to be released like way earlier too?
Yeah,
I think if it released when it was supposed to be released,
when the hype was hot,
which I believe was 2 or 3 years prior to its actual release.
I think back then it had a V10. Like the drivetrain changed too.
Oh wow! So that was like a Lexus Lfa.
That was when it was first coming out was like around the time Lexus dropped the LFA. So it was going to be that type of a car, but then they just switched things.
That would be awesome.
And speaking of a car that did do it right, Lexus Lfa. Like that's an understated brand, and they were still pretty understated when that car came out. That totally revolutionized them. But like, man, they went batshit with that thing.
Yeah,
but sounds insane.
Sounds insane.
This has a good sound to it, but it's not like, oh my god, I can't get enough of that. It's just like, okay, it sounds okay.
Well, I will say this from my impression of that like LFA time period. Like they invested a lot of resources. They never dealt with carbon before.
Yeah.
So everything was
made
new.
A loom for themselves. Exactly,
and then they were testing things, a lot of money. And I think now it's even harder to get consumers to buy your brand because the selection is great.
Yeah.
Their brands are, it's like a brand can deliver a lot now. So I don't think there's as much brand loyalty anymore.
Yeah.
So I would say at the time the LFA came out, it was kind of the end of that, like you can take your time and develop something for a long time and you'll still have your brand, It
was also the end of the era for Lexus. I think they chose that they wanted to reinvent their brand, right? Revolutionize what Lexus means. And they, the ISF came out before it, but I think that was them dipping their toe in the water.
Yeah, and they didn't market that too much.
Yeah, certainly not like as much as like threes or anything like that. But what that car did was it held its own.
Oh, yeah.
That car really held its own against the big boys. First try. And they then decided, okay, we like this. We like what this does for our brand. And we like, we want to reinvent ourselves. So then they would drop the LFA. And now once you get a car like an LFA, there's no going back. There's okay, this is a new leaf. Yep. This is a totally new side. Yep. And I think there's actually a lot of brands out there that I think need a car like that. Like
which brands?
Cadillac. 100%. And I'm not necessarily that they need a supercar, even though they could, but I think they need like a phantom competitor. Like a Cadillac among Cadillacs.
What GM brand is like that?
What?
Like a phantom competitor?
They don't have one. There is no, honestly, at this point in the world, there is no Rolls Royce. Like Bentley's the closest thing.
Which is not even.
But even, they're not even as high end as Rolls Royce. Like, I want to see Cadillac.
That would be pretty badass.
Fucking drop like a genuine, like, Rolls-Royce competitor.
I think that would match the brand totally.
Yeah, I think it would totally match the brand. Because the old V16 Cadillacs, that was what they were against the Rolls.
Actually, you know what I think? Actually, I take that back. I think it would be regressive for their brand. Here's why I say that. Okay. Because their new brand is trying to appeal to younger people, right?
Yeah, it's going to be in every rap video, man. Like,
no, right, totally.
It's the aspirational product. That will sell more ATSs. I think so. Yeah. I think that's one market where you really could. If you make a Halo car, they'll buy the other.
But the Halo car has to be representative of what the lower cars are, right?
Yeah, but it could be.
But the Cadillac you're envisioning is a Rolls-Royce competitor, a Phantom competitor.
I don't really think they're that far off, to be honest.
No. What I'm saying is, but the what they're trying to push is the V models, right? Which is not exactly.
Well, it kinda. I mean, it's sort of they're pushing the V models, but that's a different type of thing. Like this is more like ultra luxe. This isn't like.
Right. I'm not saying the buyer would be the same.
Yeah.
But I'm turning in terms of like their vision to take more younger markets. I would feel like in that sense it would go. They'd be going backwards.
Well, but young people like Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
I saw a guy. Actually, me and Gab saw a guy yesterday on our way to the concert. We saw a guy that was probably in his 30s driving a Wraith.
Wow.
Like a white Wraith. It was beautiful. But like, yeah, I mean, young people really like Rolls Royces. Yeah. They're not old people car at this point. It's really status and like the ultimate plush luxury.
The new one?
It's the Wraith, the Dawn, the Ghost, and those are all in the same chassis that shares 7 Series. And then the Phantom is like the top. I don't know if Cadillac should even go toward the Phantom.
Maybe a Ghost.
But toward the Ghost.
The Ghost is the quote-unquote entry one, right?
Yeah. I mean, $359,000 entry. But if Cadillac made something that could compete with that.
I think they totally could, too.
Yeah. And they don't even have to change the brand. It's a Cadillac. That's what Cadillacs were at one time. Like, you go to these concourses, you see these old V16s, and you'll see it parked next to a Rolls Royce from the same era. And I'll tell you right now, man, the Cadillac might be nicer. It probably is.
Yeah.
Like, they were real status symbols back in the day.
But given some headline news from GM as a company recently, I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, well,
I mean, without getting into the whole economics and politics of the brand, that would be awesome, though. I would love to see Cadillac come out with a car like that. That would be amazing.
I think that would be the kind of thing.
That'd be really exciting.
I mean, the V models, I do kind of think they've gotten as much traction as they're going to get from the V models.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's taken them a long way.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, in the end of the day, they're on their second generation. The next generation, it's like, okay, now it's expected.
Yeah.
We need to take the Cadillac brand to, like, the next tier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope they don't do, like, I was really excited when the Lincoln Continental came out. I know it's not, like, a Rolls-Royce, obviously not a Rolls-Royce competitor. But it was like a reemergence of like this super.
What Lincoln is.
Yeah, exactly. What just huge boat of a car with luxury, like comfortable ride, and then it's front wheel drive. They like got rid of a lot of the
chassis
with the styling cues. Like they got rid of a lot of things. And now
normal doors, no suicide doors.
Yeah,
that dropped it. When I saw the doors open the first time, I was just like, nope, it's dead to me.
Yeah,
like it's a nice car. I'll give it props, but like it's not really the Continental they should have.
But when the like prototype came out, I was like, wow, this looks awesome.
Yeah,
I would totally get one. And then the real production, I was like, oh my god, what the hell did you do?
It's a good looking car though.
No, I'm not saying it's not. But
it kind of looks like an Audi.
It looks exactly the same as the MK. What's the one right? The sedan, the MKX.
Oh, the MKS. Yeah, the MKS.
Yeah,
it's
like the front end looks exactly the same. The back end, obviously it's a little different, but the front looks. It's like the problem with the
they're
Mercedes,
too much to their,
like the S class and E class. The front looks exactly the same.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, I think with these flagship cars, you have to distinguish them styling wise. You have to take those cars and dictate the future brand styling, not conform to the current.
Yep.
Those cars have to lead the charge because it's a flagship.
Yep.
And I don't think Lincoln did that there.
No.
You know what I mean? I think
it was a cost saving thing, and I do kind of get that because they are re-releasing a model that hasn't been around for a while. So I can see.
Yeah, but how hard is it to put the hinges on the other side of the door?
Yeah.
Like, even as is, just give me suicide doors and I would like it 100 times more.
I think it's just like the testing they would have to do.
I know.
Like, retest it for crash.
Yeah, no, it is a different crash structure.
Yeah, but you're right. Like, even if it did have that simple, if it opened like that, that'd be totally different.
Well, and the other thing, though, is it's not high-end enough for that.
Yeah.
For a bespoke chassis, it would have to be like an S-Class competitor, at least.
Fair
if
enough.
Not like a Rolls
So
competitor.
you look really dumb.
Well, no, it's just I think to justify the crash testing for its own chassis, like you know what I mean, like to be completely its own thing, it would have to be more high end. It wouldn't be a $60,000 or $70,000 car.
But given that, I do want to test out those new seats that they're.
Oh yeah.
Have you tried them out yet?
No, I actually haven't.
What is it, like 80 different points or some crazy amount of adjustment?
No, it's really cool, and I like that they're putting it in a lot of their
all their new cars.
It's a really cool. Look, Lincoln is getting their mojo back. We talked about it a little bit last week.
Yep. I mean, they're good looking cars. Yeah.
What I really want to see is I want to see a Lincoln Mark 9, which is the Mark. So the Lincoln Mark 8. 7 and all the way back was like they were based on the Mustang chassis, but it was like a luxury GT coupe based on a Mustang. So I'd love to see a Mark 9. And I want to see it with a 3.5 liter EcoBoost in it instead of a V8, instead of anything else.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just twin turbo that shit, give it like 500 horsepower, make a GT car, and just make it a Lincoln.
I think that's what Buick's definitely doing.
They're trying.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying.
We'll see them actually execute.
I mean, styling-wise, we did kind of bash on Buick a little bit, or I did at least on the previous podcast pretty hard. But yeah, I will give them that. They're definitely making like pretty big strides in the right direction. For
sure. But all right, again, we've strayed.
Yeah.
But back. All right, so basically, this does tie in to where we're at.
We could talk about the hybridization of enthusiast cars very lightly. We just saw, was it this?
Yeah, so
some like rumors of the new M3 being a hybrid. This is again a rumor, but yeah, just seeing how. I guess we could just share like high level thoughts.
Well, so like I mean, going with the NSX is like with the hybridization of the performance cars, you started with like. I mean, it was in racing for a little while, for sure, and then it found its way into the holy trinity of hypercars, the LaFerrari, the 918, and the P1, and, great success there.
Great success.
Then, of course, it made its way to supercars with the NSX and arguably the i8. So it's finding its way down, right? It's trickling down. More and more cars are going to be hybridized. And I think, the next generation of, like, the Ferrari 488, the Lamborghini Huracan, I think those are going to be hybrids.
Oh, for sure. I think we're seeing the last of this.
Probably, or at least for now.
Yeah.
I think you might see a resurgence later, but that's a separate topic. But for right now, the hybrid trend is the hot thing. And, I think you're going to see it permeate more of the market.
Yep. It should be really just keeping an eye out for those, I guess, quote-unquote, entry-level or mid-level performance models.
Yeah, and, I don't... In some ways, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing in what it does for the performance, because it basically, in, like, the NSX, it allows them to make, essentially, a 3.5-liter V6 with 500 horsepower twin-turbo, right? It makes that a 573 horsepower power plant.
Mm-hmm. With more
But you can
torque.
put the turbos on it for that massive power. I mean, that's 500 horsepower from 3.5 liters. You need big turbos to make that kind of power from an engine like that. Mm-hmm. So the electric motor fills
fill in the
lag.
gap.
You know what I mean?
Initial torque off the line. So
it really helps with with that making the power, I mean, the performance of these hybrid cars is going to be astonishing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, it's good in that way. Where it's bad, it adds a lot of weight.
Yep. But you can add the weight way down low though. You can, and it's like how Tesla does it on their battery packs. They're like all spread across the bottom.
And it works on the road.
But
a point.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, it's still weight, and you're gonna
like
feel
when you like really get to a point where you're pushing, like you're gonna feel the weight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think, but that's material technology has to catch up. If you're gonna have a heavy battery, everything else needs to get lighter.
Yep.
And I do think that that's gonna happen. I think that's. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, how much more powerful does like a Camry need to be?
Oh yeah.
Not at all. But like. What if you had the Camry, you keep the V6 at like 300 horsepower, and you just make it like, take 25% of the weight out of it? That's way more efficient. Mm-hmm. It's faster. Mm-hmm. It's just better in every single way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the next frontier. I think we're kind of hitting an absurd point with the horsepower at this level. Like how much faster do some of these cars?
Tire companies are going to do great.
Yeah, they really are. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Especially if you have all that weight, like.
Oh yeah, it's gonna wear. If you're taking any hard corners, oh yeah, you can see like chunks fall off the tire.
I don't think it's bad. I think what I just personally hate is when you see. I don't want to see. It's a It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in my mind when. Like if we go toward electric 100% and everybody's only worrying about hybrid and electric and they're stopping advancements on the internal combustion engine, it will never get better. You know what I'm saying? There's no improvements. I'm not saying for any second that we shouldn't be pursuing those things. And I want to go on the record as saying, yes, I do think that most consumer driver cars that for people that are normal and don't care about cars, they should all be in electric cars.
So you're not normal.
I'm not normal.
Fair enough.
I'm very abnormal. But I think for the enthusiast segment, certain car companies who are very enthusiast focused should keep the internal combustion engine alive and progressing. And I do think there will be a market for it. It will be small, it will be niche, but I do think there will be a market for it. Like, we're talking the Porsches, the Ferraris, Lamborghinis, even the BMWs to a certain degree. Like, we're talking like one or two models.
Yeah, I mean? See that.
But enough to ones they would sell enough of to justify, the expenditure.
Yeah.
Right.
To be honest,
they don't have to start something completely new. They could just keep developing what they have.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that in our lifetime, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't
think so.
I do think we'll see an era where most people are driving electric cars.
Right, but I don't.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
But where it's normal. And like gas cars are like much more few and far between.
Yeah, there's just so much research and resources that go into these internal combustion engines.
Well, and I think that's the other thing is with batteries and stuff, the electric technology is still very limited. In terms of like range and also like, even performance in some ways. I mean, I guess less and less so when you have the new Tesla Roadster that supposedly is. As fast as it is, there's no real limit to its performance there. But there's a limit to the experience from a driver's perspective. That I just, in the end of the day, the less things I have to do, the less involving it is. And don't get me wrong, I think there's somewhere between like a Model T where you're like adjusting the spark advance and shit like that. There's a pleasure to that, sure, but like I think I just want to control the car. Like for me. The typical manual, I want connected steering. I want, gas, brake, clutch, a manual shift.
It's going to be like you attach a mic to while you're driving. You say 1, 2.
Oh my God. Yeah. Where you just tell it to go into these gears. I mean, oh my God. Can you imagine?
That'd be insane, huh? But the funny thing is, that's not too far-fetched.
Well, I mean, it's essentially the same as a paddle shift.
Yeah, I mean...
When you pull the paddle, you're essentially saying 4, 5. Like, I mean, I don't like it. I like paddle shift better than that idea.
Turn. Go faster.
Yeah, oh my God. Can you imagine? Yeah, if you're just sitting there with your legs crossed reading the paper. Faster, please. Turn. Stop. Like,
That'd be interesting.
I don't know about that. But I do think that if used correctly, the electricity can help the driving experience.
Yeah, I think it will. It's just a matter of how much will it take away from the driving experience. That's the question, right?
Absolutely. And from a power plant, you know what though? Like from a power plant standpoint, like it doesn't really, like when they mount the engine between the transmission, or when they mount the electric motor between the engine and the transmission, and it can still use the transmission, but you still have a transmission. Yeah. Like I don't think, you know, compared to other paddle shift cars, I don't think you really lose that much. In terms of like, you know, engagement. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a manual, but we're not even talking about that at that point. Like, you know, compared to like a normal car with a dual clutch, like I think it's better because you still have the option. Like if you want to go electric only, that can use the gearbox. You can cruise at 80 miles an hour, and you know, in 6th gear with electricity alone. It's really good. Like the 918, I think that's one of the reasons why the 918 is my favorite of that group. Is that car I think had the best hybrid system in terms of like being used daily. Yeah. Like being functional.
I mean the only competitor for that when it came out was a P1, really, right?
Well, in terms of Ferrari.
Yeah.
Less so. The P1 actually, supposedly the LaFerrari does have an electric only mode for very short distances. People have filmed them, but according to Ferrari, it doesn't. Yeah. The P1 does, but the
it's
Porsche,
only for like I think the Porsche could go the longest, right?
Well, the other thing, the Porsche, like, you know, when they released that, less than a year later, they released, or maybe even around the same time, they released the Panamera SE Hybrid, which basically used the exact same system.
I have seen those.
And like, I mean, so it's like there's your trickle down right there. You got this $1 million hypercar, and then boom, you got this luxury sedan, and now you know that is being used by Volkswagen Group and other hybrids. So I like that for the relevancy of it, and I do think it helps. And that's a great example. That's a car with a screaming engine that, you know, it does everything. I don't think there's too many drawbacks to a modern supercar experience like the 918. You know, from a driver's standpoint.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, obviously, again, we're outside of the Carrera GT realm. We're outside of the purist. But if you're gonna have, like, you know, compare a 918 to like a 458 and tell me, or like an Enzo or something like that, and tell me the 918 isn't better in every way. And I don't just mean performance. I mean, like, you know, like the feel of it and stuff. Yeah. Like,
I've never driven one, but
haven't driven one.
From what I've seen and read, I would.
You know, you're still flicking a paddle and getting a gear change. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, like you can do that and go 70 miles on electricity only in 918. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas the Enzo's got this clunky single clutch thing. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for hybrids trickling in, like Nick said, to I guess the more entry level market. Right.
Yeah. No, I think we'll see. I mean, supposedly the next Evo, if that ever materializes, might be a hybrid too.
Yeah.
So
or that new Leaf Nismo. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! Can you imagine? Like, Leaf Nismo. What if they did like do that to like compete with like the Model 3 and like
I would be
that would be nuts.
It'd be hilarious.
Like it'd be like a Leaf with handling and just like a boosted shot of acceleration. I wouldn't hate that. Actually,
that'd be hilarious. That would be the ultimate sleeper car. Yeah, ultimate sleeper car.
Especially in that like blue green color. Like, oh man,
blue.
Oh my god, what a ridiculous idea. It's such a bad idea. I like it though.
Yeah, it's so extreme. It's not trying to pretend to be sporty. That's why.
It's like the Murano Cross Cabriolet in the same color. It's so bad, but I want one.
Oh god,
I would rock the shit out of a Murano Cross Cabriolet.
Oh boy!
Oh dude, it's like such a cruiser, like, and everybody hates it, and that's why I love it, is because it's so different. And the worse the color, the better. Have you ever seen one docked?
No.
The big 36-inch rims, man. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, they're great. I would that lottery situation, that would be in my driveway.
Oh boy.
With big chrome donk spinning rims. Hell yeah. And on that note, we are...
let's stop.
Time to end.
Please. But there's podcast number 7.
Yeah, 7.
Damn.
7 in the bag now.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, well, everybody, thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, we are very grateful. Just be sure to subscribe if you like what we're doing. If you have any criticism, constructive, or even if you just want to swear at us, you can write it in the comments.
Ready.
We're ready for it. Whatever.
And check out everything. Yeah, check out the blog
mindovermotor.com.
Yeah, there's new articles pretty frequently
every day, pretty much during the week.
So beyond our thoughts here, there's a ton of other stuff that that are covered
reviews,
there, so.
thoughts. A lot of galleries of cars we've seen and stuff. We kind of it's like a memoir of our life in cars. And then Instagram is mindovermotor_official. I changed my tag. It's easier to say.
Nice.
What's your Instagram?
It's Sam X Shun.
And Sam takes fantastic pictures of all kinds of cars.
I try.
He does a good job. He's very crazy. He sometimes sticks out the window and puts his life on the line to get the shot.
Do it for the shot. Do it for the gram.
Hell yeah. So, check us out. And thank you very much for listening.
See you.